whatever your field you're in today, it is really important for us to educate, support, and amplify other people's voices. For those who may not know, September through October is Hispanic Heritage Month. And tonight we have a lovely line of guest speakers and spiritual entrepreneurs who will be sharing from the Hispanic community, their gifts, talents, and expertise, as well as their journey of what it was like to get to where they are today. Keep in mind that even though their business may be throughout different parts of the states, a lot of their sessions and services that they offer can be done virtually. My name is Femme, co-founder of the Happy Healing Shop, a spiritual and metaphysical lifestyle company that helps people on their spiritual journey through community events such as this. We also have free resources on our site and online courses such as energy healing, developing your intuition and psychic abilities, and turning your spiritual hobby into a business. So for more information on that, you can visit thehappyhealingshop.com. So let's get started. If you have any questions, anyone watching in for any of the guests tonight, you can go ahead and type it in the Zoom chat. Also, we will be posting the playback of this event along with the links to the websites and social media of our guests on our YouTube channel, which is also the Happy Healing Shop. So our first guest is a breathwork coach intuitive guide. For the last 4 years, she has guided thousands of people, including myself, to connect with their breath as a pathway for transformation. She creates personalized healing journeys by combining breathwork, her intuitive guidance, including her gift of clairvoyance, and curated playlists. Her work has been featured on NBC Nightly News, Bravo TV, LA Times, Harper's Bazaar, and more. Please give a warm welcome to Lilia. Yay!
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and to see so many of you joining us as well for this conversation.
Yes. So I met Lilia at a meditation studio a couple years ago. So it's nice being able to see you again during quarantine. Can you tell everyone about how you grew up and your journey of getting into breathwork? Was it a coincidence, like by chance of you falling into it, or did you have an inkling as a child that you want to get into spirituality and wellness growing up?
My family's from Mexico and I grew up Catholic. So my introduction to the spiritual world is through Catholicism. And while I no longer practice that, as a child, I loved connecting with angels and I would pray all the time. And I view prayer as a form of meditation. So when I got away from organized religion and started to explore meditation, I found that in my very first healing session that I had about 10 years ago, the first thing that came up were angels. And so it was something that I was comfortable with. And I found it really fascinating. And I don't know, it just kind of felt like home in a different way, where now I felt empowered and I was able to receive messages to just guide me, as opposed to just being told what to do in a very black and white way, like this is bad and this is good. So I found the transition into spirituality just a lot more healthier in how I live my life now and how I use it. And regarding breathwork, I just stumbled upon it. I was already going on my healing journey where I was exploring different modalities, and breathwork was actually one of the later ones that I came across. And I had already gotten trainings in like theta healing. But when I came across breathwork, I loved the simplicity and I couldn't believe how powerful it was to lie down and to change the way I was breathing and then have this like huge emotional release and change the way that I felt from feeling anxious and depressed and just kind of heavy in my body to feeling lighter, to going outside and seeing the colors look brighter. It was amazing and I was hooked. And so I just continued to practice it for myself because I got such a huge results from just one experience that I wanted to see what would happen if I continued to do it. And that, in combination with the therapy that I was doing at the time, just really allowed me to accelerate my healing journey. And then I got to the point where I decided that I wanted to learn how to hold space and to learn how to facilitate breath work. And that's where guiding people to connect with their breath started. And that was 6 years ago already.
And when you started getting into breath work as, let's say, part of your career or spiritual path, did your family support you, or were they thinking, what are you doing? How are you going to make ends meet? Because I feel like ethnic parents can be, they can be like that sometimes.
I mean, I have disappointed my parents from day one. After I graduated college, I went to school at UC Berkeley, and I came to LA because I wanted to be a TV host. And so I just had a bunch of random side jobs until I launched my business, basically. I was working as a commercial actor and actually I was doing it quite a bit. And so I was able to make a living off of that. But even that, my parents were, especially my mom, she was like, what are you doing? Don't you want to just get a job? Like, don't you want stability and insurance? Yep. I'm like, well, I already have insurance from my union, thanks. But no, I knew as a child that I didn't want to work in an office. And the one time that I did, like, my soul was telling me, don't do this. This is going to kill us. And I lasted all of like 3 months, and then I got fired. And I was so happy. So it's kind of a blessing for me that I'm so connected with my body and my spirit that right away it tells me, this is not for you. We can't be here for a long time. Like, we need to move on. And so that's kind of how I've lived my whole life. And even with my breathwork practice, it has evolved from the beginning, where before it was more, you met me at a yoga or at a meditation studio. So I was working out of meditation studios and yoga studios, and it was more structured. And when I started to work at these places, that's where I was starting to channel messages as well. And so it became more than just telling people to breathe. And that's where I added the spirituality, the clairvoyance guidance. And so it's become a really special journey that my clients and students go on, which allows for really profound healing to happen while we're gathering together.
Yeah, I love your story about, and I think a lot of people watching it now or later can realize that it can be a very non-linear pathway, but if you listen to what your intuition or what your spirit guides are trying to tell you, like for you, luckily you got out of that office job in 3 months. Most people, it takes 3 or more years for them to realize it's not for them.
Longer. Yeah.
How does it feel to be, I guess, from your perspective, a Hispanic in the spiritual wellness industry? Is there anything you wish people could know about what it's like to be in your shoes?
Well, when I first started, even though 6 years ago, it doesn't seem like a long time ago, but that was earlier in this like boom of wellness and spirituality. All of my colleagues were Caucasian. I was like the only person of color. And even though I'm white passing, and I know that a lot of people don't know that I'm Mexican or Latin, the majority of my clients are. And so I was able to speak a language or just help them feel more comfortable in the wellness space that tends to be very white, especially in LA. Luckily, there was a studio in East LA called People's Yoga that was open to having me host a breathwork class once a month. So that was the first time where that community got access to meditation and to breathwork. And it was a completely different experience. Like, they were so hungry and ready for it. And what I found was that every month they would also bring their family members. And so even though there isn't a lot of exposure or access in general in the Latino community, they are curious. And I think because of my spiritual background or my Catholicism background, there is the question of like, well, how does that, what's the relationship with with God or church. So there is some hesitation, feeling like it's bad or they're going to get in trouble. And so I have to remind them, all we're doing is breathing, and you can believe whatever you want. Like, you're connecting with your body. If you believe in God, like, how incredible it is for you to take a pause in your day and really acknowledge what God created. And so I found that just having that language and letting them know also, like with my parents, my dad is way more open to all of this. He loves crystals. He also connects with angels, even though he doesn't talk a lot about it. And my mom is a lot more resistant. She has experienced breath work and it overwhelmed her nervous system. So she shut down. And then I've also become Reiki attuned. And so I incorporate in my in-person sessions Reiki. And so there was a moment where she was receiving Reiki and she's like, oh my God, your hands were like burning my head when you were touching my head. I'm like, I wasn't touching your head. And she was so confused. She's like, yeah, you were. Like, I felt your hands on my head. I'm like, no, I wasn't, Mom. And I think that freaked her out. So it's been interesting to just kind of navigate that, but even sharing that with my students or clients, and then them sharing that with their parents starts to open up the conversation, at least the introducing them to this world. And the pandemic has actually really helped that, because people have been so overwhelmed and stressed out, and because we were all stuck in our houses, that people were desperate to find some type of relief. And so I did start to host breathwork classes in Spanish. And it was amazing to see adult children breathing with their parents and starting the generational healing. So it's been a really beautiful thing to witness and introduce a lot of my community to the power of their breath.
Right. I was about to ask, because of COVID, did you feel, because obviously like studios, they shut down or were put on hold. Did you feel like it actually created growth for your business because people were looking for a place of solace to come to, or again, like healing while being stuck at home?
Absolutely. My business increased tremendously. It's been such a huge blessing. And it's because now people have access to my work around the world. And so I started to host a free breathwork class called Community Gathering on Saturday mornings. And really people from all over the world joined. And the community was so diverse. From the oldest community member that I had was 95 years old to people breathing with their kids.
And pets, I've seen.
And pets, yes. Oh my gosh, I love it when people breathe with their pets. It's so beautiful. I've done a few breathwork classes with your pets. And so it's beautiful to see people breathe. They're such sensitive beings that they also mimic our energy. But yeah, that was a really great way to introduce people to breathwork, and especially since it was free. And then people, if they were able to, would donate a donation. So that allowed a way for people to experience my work. And then from there, those that were serious, or not serious, but ready to go deeper with their healing practice, and that would lead to more of my one-on-one healing coaching business offering. So
right. And you guys, I have taken her breathwork classes before. So she also offers a sliding scale, but I don't want to take over. Can you let everyone, I know you have so many things going on, like projects, which I'm excited for you. Can you tell what services, events, programs, the membership you have, things that are coming up, that the audience can join in on?
So after doing community gathering for about 18 months and really seeing the value of consistent community spaces and having a safe place for people to be vulnerable and share with each other, I decided to create a membership called The Collective. So I'm launching this Friday, and it's a year-long program where we're going to have moon circles in it and guest healers and have live healing coaching sessions. Plus, you'll have access to my library of meditations, and I'll be making special events specifically for this membership and retreat. So it's a way for us to create even a closer bond and really support each other, and remind you that you're not alone. And one of my other offerings is a mastermind and an event called Dream Bigger, which is to help you realize your goals. And so I'm kind of taking aspects of my different offerings and putting them under this membership. So I'm really excited about that. And then my other offerings include one-on-one coaching called Reset, and that's for people who want to dive deep. A lot of times people who do that are in a place of overwhelm, anxiety, depression, and they've tried it all and they're like, I just am kind of at my last ends and I need help. And so through breath work and my intuitive guidance and all of that, we really help them get out of that and be back in a place of power so that they can start to take action in their life. So that's been really beautiful work to guide people through.
And for a lot of your clients, are they more people that feel lost in life, or can they come to you with an issue like I have relationship or health issues, or like just I feel stagnant in this certain area of my life? Or is it more of just like a life path?
No, people have very specific goals where some are, I have this health issue and I need support, like emotional support to navigate through this. I'm about to have surgery. Or yeah, a relationship has ended or is ending, or they're changing jobs. Or some people at the beginning, they just present it as a more general goal. They're like, I just need clarity. But really, I mean, we all have our answers within, right? It's just, it is helpful to have someone kind of get to that goal or to that desire and really take ownership of it. A lot of times as well, there's confusion. We feel confused, but that energy isn't even ours. So I see that in a lot of my clients where that noise is like family members or their partner. And so this back and forth of like, I don't know what to do, can come from that. So once they start to gain clarity on that, it's like, oh yeah, you're right. This is actually what I do want to do. And it's incredible. Like once they make the commitment, things can shift really quickly.
And just a reminder for the audience, if you have any questions for Anna, please type in the chat below. And when people have sessions with you, whether it's reset or like a one-on-one breath work, what are people's, do you see, I guess you can give an example of like, I guess reactions or the state of being that people were in when they first, before their session with you, and then after like a program or a session with you?
Yeah. Let me backtrack because some people have never heard of breath work in the chat, it says. So they don't know what it is. So breath work is an active form of meditating where you change the way that you breathe. There's a lot of different breathing techniques that you can do. When I guide people, we do a 2-stage breathing practice, which is where we're breathing from our diaphragm, our chest, and exhale. And then it's kind of like a circular breath. As soon as you're done exhaling, you go right back into the inhale. And that really allows you to oxygenate your body. So it's common to feel a lot of vibration or tingling sensation when you're doing this work. It starts to open up your energy channels and also allow you to release any emotions that you've stuffed down and haven't really allowed yourself to feel or acknowledge. So it's a great way to release anything that's weighing you down. So that's kind of like the short definition of what breath work is. And what people tend to feel, it can be as simple as they show up and they have a headache or they have like back pain or something. And after they do breath work, they're like, oh my gosh, my headache is gone. Or that tension that I felt in my lower back, like it completely opened up. So that's an example of what people can experience too. If you're a creative person, sometimes people have this like burst of creative inspiration where they see their next painting or what they're going to write about next. So what we're able to also do in this active breathing is quiet the fearful part of the mind, the analytical mind, that's just telling us all these stories that really aren't letting us do what we want to do. And we're able to get inspiration and kind of see big picture of things when we're in this meditative state. So that's another thing that I see a lot of my students or clients experience while they're doing a breathwork session. And as a really simple practice as well, it's just calming their body, calming their nervous system. So from being in a hypervigilant, anxious state, they're able to go into a relaxed state, feeling grounded, feeling a sense of peace, feeling like whatever's going on in their life right now isn't so overwhelming that they don't know what to do. Like they actually feel empowered to take action. So that's another thing about breathwork.
Lisette asked here, and I think you kind of touched upon it, but it's more of what do you find the biggest benefits of breathwork are? Currently researching topics of breathwork for supporting the vagus system and nervous system healing.
Yeah. So depending on the type of breathwork that you practice, I now tell my clients that if you've never done it before, you should breathe using your nose. In the past, I would tell people to breathe with their open mouth, and that allows a lot more oxygen to get into their body, but that can overwhelm their nervous system. So instead of going into relaxed state, they might experience the tetany, which is when their hands get really cramped, or like tension in the mouth, and all of these body sensations that might freak someone out if they don't feel safe being in their body to begin with. So I like to now start on the slower spectrum, where just gently breathing. And for some people, that might just be breathing using their diaphragm. When you breathe using your diaphragm, you are able to like switch on and off your nervous system. So you're able to go from being on high alert into relaxed. So that's something simple that you can also just do on your day-to-day practice. As a takeaway, I always tell people to check in with your breath throughout the day. You'll probably notice that you actually do a lot of breath holding, or maybe you do a lot of shallow breathing. And so once you become conscious of that, and you might notice tension up in your shoulders, drop down your breathing to your belly, and you'll notice that your whole body just starts to relax, and the tension that you're feeling in your body starts to go away. So it's a tool that you can use on your day-to-day to help calm and regulate your nervous system.
Great. And finally, where can people find you online and social media?
Yeah, I'm really active on Instagram. So if you follow me there, I can put it in the chat. And then on my website, annalilia.net, you can find all of my offerings. I actually still have on my website, it's coming down soon. So if you're interested, I have a free self-love challenge where it has 5 different practices, including a breathwork meditation, and including affirmations and all these other stuff. So if you want to taste from my work for free, that's up right now, but it's going to come down at the end of this week. So hop on it right now.
Summer's over.
It was for the summer. I'm like, yeah, the summer's over. Let me update my website. But it's still up there in this moment. So you can check it out there.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next guest speaker is a certified crystal healer, Reiki master, psychic medium, Femme Attuned movement teacher, and spiritual life mentor. That is a mouthful. She's always had a natural attraction to the healing arts from a very young age. Her love for performance and creativity, combined with her gifts for the mystic arts, has allowed her to follow her soul's calling and to help others find theirs. She helps others connect to their soul's wisdom by using movement, sound, channeling, crystal, Reiki, and self-love tools to help them activate their soul's purpose and the healer within. Please give a warm welcome to Mercedes Caliente Vasquez.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Trang. And oh my God, Anna, I just have to say, I loved everything you said. I feel like similar paths. And I just wanted to add that I just recently got breathwork certified. So, and the reason for that was because I did a lot of breathwork during the pandemic, and I found how profound it was for me. So everyone, please, 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 breathwork, go see Anna. I just became a facilitator. It was so amazing. So I have to add that too, Trang.
Yes, no, I love it.
So yeah, so thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, well, first of all, your name. You also go by Caliente. It's Mercedes, but online I see it's Caliente. Can you tell us about how that name came about?
Well, that has to do with the fact that I am just a creative spirit. And as a young child, I was always dancing and acting. And similar to Anna, you know, I also was big into my acting field, and I went into burlesque for a little bit, and Caliente Creatrix was my name. And I just remember loving it because it was, as a Hispanic person, it just reminds me of how like passionate we are, how fiery, how hot, and creatrix because I was always creative. I was always doing something. And when I started to kind of segue my creativity with my spirituality, which I really felt are one and the same, I just kept the name. I just added soul expressions because I just feel that I was expressing my true soul, my true self. And that's what I desire to do for others, is to help them express their true soul's expression, soul's desires, soul's path, or just connect to souls in general.
Right. And then, you know, when you were younger, did you, as a child, did you know and feel that the spiritual and healing arts for you?
You know, it's funny because, and I might be dating myself by mentioning this person's name, but there was this amazing performer called Iris Chacon, and she was like this amazing dancer and had this vibrant energy. She was from Puerto Rico. And my mother said that I would get up on the couch and imitate her and just dance just like her. And I would say, I want to be her. So yes, as a little girl, I always wanted to perform. I was always shy. I'm a bit of an introvert. Even public speaking gets me a little like, ugh. But there was something about being on stage. There was something about performing. I literally felt like I was channeling. And at the same time, during that period, I was probably around 4 years old, my mother would tell me that I was talking to people, that I would just be like in the corner talking to people. And then one day I came to her and I said, Mom, I know who my spirit guide is. And she's a dancer and she's from Africa and her name is this, and she wants that, and she wants a blue skirt. And she was just like, whoa. But she was very caring and cultivated that, even though later in my adolescent teenage years, I kind of shut it down because of, you know, fear and wanting to be liked and was shunned upon. But I grew up with a mother who is a psychic medium and a grandmother who is a medium and a great grandmother who is a medium on both sides of the family. So my paternal grandmother was actually my mother's mentor. And also I grew up Catholic. So my mother was Catholic, but she was also into the Yoruba religion, which is Afro-Cuban religion, where they believe in deities and they do spirit gatherings. And so she would have people come to her for healing. But because she was Catholic, it was always kind of like hush, hush. But everybody, it's interesting because I feel like in the Latino community, everybody knows someone who is a medicine woman or is a healer, but doesn't really like say it. And so there was a level of me, or what I kind of learned was that I could not share my gifts out into the world because somebody would either say it was wrong or shun it, or just it didn't feel safe until later years.
Right. And so your mom, it seemed like it ran through your mom's bloodline. Was your dad or even your other family members supportive of it, but they were also hush hush about it?
You know, it was funny. My father's side of the family was very supportive of it, and they lived in Cuba mostly and Miami. I didn't grow up with my dad. I grew up with my mom in New York, and we were all hush hush. We all knew about it. We all did our gatherings, but no one talked about it. So it's interesting now because I have some cousins who are in the same line of business, who are doing their own thing and sharing their gifts that we all inherited from our grandmother. So it's really a beautiful thing. And yeah, I have some cousins now from my mother's side who are just like, can you tell me what you do again? Can you give me a little bit of that healing? You know, but again, it's a little taboo. It's interesting how we don't express it.
Right. And then how did you get, obviously in your teen years, there's like that fear and a sense of wanting to belong. And was it a certain event that happened or just like awakening where you overcame that fear and got to where you are now?
I think it was a little bit of both. Throughout my life, I always had instances where I'm also a trance medium. And that would spook me because I would, be at a party, or I wouldn't protect my energy and I would pick up on things and then not know if it was mine or what was going on. And of course, with the guidance, my mother's guidance, I started to learn, and I had to protect my energy because I'm an empath as well. And so I learned that I had a gift, but I didn't know how to use it. And my mom recently has been getting ill. She has Parkinson's. And so what she could teach me was a bit limited. So I went out to find out how I can develop my gift. And it was a combination of having these moments where, oh my God, I don't know what's happening, but I'm getting these messages, or I'm feeling a spirit connection, and being afraid of developing it because not knowing like what would happen if I did. And also going through a really, really, like I would call it a dark night of the soul, where I had the worst relationship ever. And I was giving myself away to this person and I wasn't loving myself. And so, I mean, this might be a little long, so I'm gonna try to make the short version of this. I went to the School of Womanly Arts, which was led by Regina Thomas Hauer. And I mean, it was the best thing that I could have ever done, because I met women who from all walks of life, from all like social backgrounds, economic backgrounds, all colors, skin sizes, who were there to just feel empowered. And through that, I learned about self-love, I learned about self-care, and it opened up the doors to my spiritual development. I met Bernadette Pleasant, who is the founder of the Emotional Institute, who created Femme Attuned, which is like a somatic movement experience where you get to experience different emotions and get it out of your body and express it because it's needed. Because, if you don't, it gets stuck in your body. And we do all that through drum beats. And listening to the drums, I was like, that reminds me of like my ancestors, which reminded me of my spirit guide. So I was like, okay, there's a connection there. And then through that, I also was looking for more development. And I went to the School of Holistic Studies Institute. And I met these amazing soul groups, 12 people, who I'm still friends with today, who we still practice our intuitive gifts. And that's when I started to develop my psychic mediumship. That's when I started to own the abilities that I have had since birth and the connection that I have with spirit. And I was able to finally surrender and just let them lead. And and right now I'm just incorporating everything I know. And it's been quite an interesting journey.
I feel like that's very common with a lot of people, where they get to where they are today, but definitely has not been a smooth ride. It's a lot of self-discovery as well.
Yeah, putting the pieces together.
Right. And so with all the, the training you've done, or like the different gifts, what have you combined them? How did you combine them? And like, what do you give readings and what services do you offer?
Yeah, so I primarily work one-on-one. I have done workshops and I am planning to do some more workshops because I found them very, very beneficial. But one of the things that I stumbled upon was Reiki and crystal Reiki. And I found my mentor, Krista Mitchell, who was amazing, gave me my first Akashic record reading, which left me completely profound. And that's when I thought, I need to also incorporate this. So what I do in my sessions after getting certified is that I scan people's energies. I can read your aura. I'm clairaudient as well. And with that, I can kind of give you an assessment of what's out of balance. I scan your chakras. If you come to see me in person, I give you Reiki. I put certain crystals on you depending on what is troubling you or what we need to focus on or what you need to just release. And then I can do breath work with you, or we could do one-on-one Femme movement, depending. There's some people who really need to move any stuck or stagnant energies out of their bodies. And depending on the person, like all my sessions are unique, all depending on where they are, because I understand like there's different strokes for different folks, so I kind of intuitively just guide them. And it's really unique. I have to say, I've never done a session, or any two sessions have been the same. They've always been very organic, but I always do start with just scanning someone's aura and chakras.
Right. And then as a psychic medium, you did mention that you're clairaudient, which is hearing things. Do you also receive information from spirit in other ways, like seeing or
Yes.
knowing, feeling?
No, definitely knowing. I also, like I mentioned, I'm an empath, so I get like sensations. And even, you know, depending if there's loved ones that want to come through and I'm in a safe environment, I'm a conduit, so they'll speak through me. And that's been pretty interesting and wild. But yeah, there's many different ways that I get messages. Right now, I have with my weekly free mini psychic readings. And we don't see the people's face. We just hear them and we pick up what images, what emotions, what I hear, and we give them these little readings. And it's been really effective. And it's also a great way to practice.
Right. And then also today, how does it feel for you to be a Hispanic or a Latina in the spiritual and metaphysical industry?
I have to say, I'm so happy to be a Hispanic Latina in this industry. I don't feel like Ana said, you know, there's enough of us, but at the same time, I feel like we do understand it. I just don't think that it's out in the open. So I wish to share it more, to be more expressive with it. I also feel that, you know, we are such givers. We're such like we have such big hearts and we're always giving, but I don't see us receiving or taking care of ourselves first. So this is a really good way to, I mean, all this alternative healing is a really great way to take care of you, to fill your well up first so that you can then give. And I also, one of the things I've noticed too from our community is that we're either hot or cold. You know, we're like from 0 to 100. We go into rage, we go into the sass, or we're like, no, everything's fine. Don't, you know, we're good. And, you know, one of the methods that I really want to share more is the Femme movement, because I really feel like, as well as with the breath work, that we get to express all emotions and that we get to learn that all emotions are okay. There is no bad emotion. You know, you can be mad and sad and angry and upset and joyful and excited all in one day, all in one moment. And it's all okay. You know, we label that in the society as that person's manic or the crazy or the, and, you know, and loosely, there are different issues. But at the same time, I don't think we are given a platform to just be and to express that. So, I wish that we could do that more, and I'm here to help, and I would love to lead the way in whatever way I can.
Yes, there unfortunately aren't a lot of people of color that people see doing this work online. And also, as I was doing the preparation for this webinar, it was actually difficult finding people of color. It took a lot of time and effort. Yeah, so that's kind of sad, but hopefully it will change in the future. And also a reminder for the audience, if you guys have any questions for Caliente, please type in the chat below. And what is one thing you hope the audience or anyone watching in now or later on this would take away from you tonight?
That you can really just enjoy your life, that you don't have to hold back, and that I hope that people can see that I'm a facilitator for their soul's work, for their happiness, for their joy, that I can hold space for you in any capacity and make it fun, you know, really make it fun, and also just really be there and just hold that safe container. But I also want people to know that what we're doing, you know, everyone is intuitive, everyone has the ability to do this. And just because you see it in me doesn't mean you can't have it. You can have it too. So I just wish that everybody can shine their light and inspire others to do the same.
Well, thank you for joining with us. Can you let people know where they can find you online or in social media?
Yes, I'm gonna share it here, including my Instagram. I'm on TikTok a lot now, which I am enjoying because I get to be creative. I'm also on Clubhouse, as I mentioned, with my soul group. Every Tuesdays, we give free psychic mini readings. It's like 4 or 5 of us, and you get a reading from all of us. That's at 5:30 Eastern. We're also going to have a online psychic fair November 6th. So watch out for that. I'll post that all in my social media. And if you want to take any Femme classes, you can go to theemotionalinstitute.com. I'll always post, there they go. There, I just posted everything. And last but not least, I will be holding online seances to coming December for those who want to connect with their loved ones.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Caliente.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So our next and final guest is an energy and aura healer. Just gonna find her in the chat right now. Perfect. Okay. And she's also owner of Starlit Shop. She was born in LA, raised in Argentina, where she studied graphic, interior, and fashion design. And then she pursued acting and modeling. I feel like there's a common theme with all our guest speakers tonight, which led her back to LA. And she studied the tarot since her teenage years and has completed courses and training in mediumship, quantum touch healing, and meditation, which have guided her spiritual journey and fueled her curiosity in numerous spiritual and mystic traditions. Please give a warm welcome to Romie Bo.
Thank you, Trang. Thank you, Mercedes, Anna. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you very much, Trang.
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you
I'm loving this.
For coming and being a guest speaker here. And wow, what a journey. How did you go from design, acting, and modeling and get into tarot and spirituality? Like, did it happen by chance, some event? Or did you just kind of have an interest in all these things and then you thought, how can I combine all these into my life?
Being right now where I am in my path, I don't believe anything was just by chance, but there was a divine orchestration of the events. And yes, I was born here in Los Angeles, California, but I was raised in Argentina. My parents are Italian. My parents are Argentinian. My grandparents Italian and Spanish. So they raised us in Argentina. And when I finished high school, I wanted to do fashion, but my dad, he used to own a publisher company, and he was like, no, you're gonna study graphic design, because if you study fashion, you're gonna starve yourself. You're not gonna earn any money. Boom, like totally programming on my brain. So because I was the black sheep, I decided to study both. So in the morning, I would study graphic. In the afternoon, I would go to work. And at night, I would go study fashion. And after, when I was done, I was like, okay, I'm done doing graphic. I'm done doing fashion. I just want to do a job that doesn't require me to be in an office. And I was 22 by then, right? I was like, I cannot take this anymore. So I started modeling in Argentina. And then, of course, that brought a lot of fights with my parents, right? It wasn't easy, but I had to make a choice. And, and then at 28, I broke up with my last boyfriend in Argentina, and I was like, okay, it's time for me to go back to the United States, because there's a reason why I was born in the United States, and there's a reason why I was raised in Argentina, and my primary language is Spanish. So I came to figure that out here. And then when I was around 31, I figured out what Saturn return was, which would have made sense for me at 28, moving from Argentina, right? And then when I was here in LA, I put that question to the universe: why was I born here in Los Angeles? What has Los Angeles to show me that I need to learn to have been born here? And then I started getting into deep studies of the tarot, even though like I've been doing tarot since I was a kid. Since I was 6 years old, actually, my parents being publishers, there was this amazing artist that didn't have money to publish his artwork, and my dad was like, just pay me with a painting and I'll publish your cards. so he gave me a couple of the decks. So that was my first deck. The artist is called Kirin, which right now he's a really well-known Argentinian artist. So it was a good deal that my dad got there. But you know, since I was 6 years old as well, like there were some light beings that would come and talk to me, and I call them extraterrestrials. And when I told my parents were like, no, that's BS, like they don't exist. And then, okay, well, I blocked that out. And there's a store here in Los Angeles called Spellbound Sky, and I would always go to get crystals. And there was always this little piece of tektite that will call my attention. Here it is. It's a meteorite, and it is used for connection to DTs. And I was always scared to get it because I was like, oh, is it gonna be like when I was a kid? Like, even though nothing bad happened, right? And there was a voice that said, you have to overcome the fear. Like, this is just like something to overcome your fear. So I got it, and then that little crystal unlocked a lot of the things with my communication with other galactic beings. Now, I was studying tarot from 30 to 34, and then I was studying mediumship as well at the Green Man store with Adela Lavin. And I was doing a lot of meditations, the full moon meditations with Jessica Snow here in California and LA as well. She's an amazing unicorn as well. And that amplified while I was, yes, I act for a while, but then there were certain things that they weren't fulfilling me in the acting. And even though I had like really good opportunities, so then I continued doing interior design. But then after doing interior design, I had another talk to the universe. I was like, okay, universe, there has to be something else than just like working for money. And my life was really good. I was traveling. I was working only 6 months of the year, and then traveling around the world, paying for my own things. I had my independence. Like, it was, you know, yes, I had my abuses and things going on in my life that took me to this where I am right now. But overall, I was pretty blessed. And then that's when I asked that question to the universe, that's when I came across to get to study quantum touch healing. And with the quantum touch healing, you learn a lot of breathing techniques to activate that source energy within you. And then I continue asking to the universe, okay, what is next? Like, I don't want to do interior design anymore. And then I came across, I was watching Gaia, and Regina Meredith, she was interviewing this physicist, Dr. Teresa Bullard, and she was explaining physics and spirituality, and I could actually understand. And I was like, who's this lady? Like, I just fell in love with her. So I started like stalking her. And then she, at the end of the interview, she names the Mother Mystery School. I was like, Mother Mystery School, what is that? And then a lot of classes showed up. And I went, she had a class that was called How to Be Galactic. I was like, oh, how to be galactic? I want to be galactic. Like, yes, where did I sign? So I went to that class, and then they were offering a modality called life activation. And again, they just got me by the name. It said life activation. I was like, okay, I want my life to be activated, whatever that means. So basically, I got the life activation, which is a DNA activation. It basically connects you to your blueprints in a clear way. So you're connected to source, remembering and having a clear connection with spirit to download all your blueprints and to start remembering your mission here on earth. And even if you are in your mission, it just always just propels you to the next level and the next level, right? Because it's a never-ending path, this one of healing. Like, we've been traveling through eternity in these lifetimes and timelines trying to heal, right? And the more that you do it, the more that, you know, you're going to open up to different timelines as well, and you're going to have interactions with other dimensional aspects of you. So it was so massive, the change that did on me, that life activation, that I had to go and learn how to do it, because I was like, this is the birthright of every single soul that is here on this planet, and actually in other timelines and dimensions too. But let's focus about the souls here in planet Earth right now, which we're like going through a really important times, right? We have chosen, everyone here in this room have chosen to be in this time right now to anchor a specific frequency on this planet, to bring the planet into becoming a sacred planet. Basically, we have the 7 sacred planets, right? And Earth, it's one of the ones that it's becoming the 8th planet. And this is the reason why we are here. And there's this amazing explosion of all these healers and light workers coming out, and why people is feeling the need to connect to spirituality right now. So after that, I continue my path, becoming a certified life activation practitioner, and then I started like studying other modalities like soul retrievals, full spirit activation, shamanic baby blessing, which is, to me, is one of the major ones. Like, if I ever have a baby, I want a baby blessing, because it's just like how that little person grows up is just totally different from probably the experiences that we had in our lives. I mean, and we have to go through the emotions, right? That's part of the human aspect, but sometimes it doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be that hard. We don't really need to like hold on and attach to things when it can be way easier. So all the work, right, that we do, meaning everyone, even if it's that sitting down and doing 5 minutes of meditation, goes towards that, like breaking that shadow inside of us, so we can hold a little bit more light inside of us, so we can like keep moving forward. And after that, I decided to become a ritual master as well, walk the path of the ritual master, which is like more behind the scenes of the spirituality, more in the fighting actively the dark energies, right? The darker energy. So it's just been fascinating to me. So the Modern Mystery School, to me, it's basically going to Harry Potter school. Like, there is an explanation and structure for all the magical work that we can do as human beings, and understanding the godliness that we are, and how actually saying the magic words, I am God, or I am a goddess, it starts unlocking our soul powers as a human in this human density. And that's the reason why I started as well Starlit, which is the beeswax candle line and Kabbalistic incense. I'm a Hermetic Kabbalist as well, which helps people start connecting with their powers and their spirituality. And even, lighting a candle of Ganesh, let's say Ganesh, or there's pyramids, Ganesh open roads, it takes the blocks out of your way. So even like purple, for example, is for empowerment. So even like lighting a purple candle and just holding it and putting the intention, just like you program the crystals, you program the candle, and let's say, Ganesh, please help me empower myself, or whatever comes to you. Like I encourage the people to like bring their intentions from inside of themselves, and then lighting the candle, there will be an energetic shift, and they will feel it, or at least that's the feedback that I keep getting from the people that get the candles, and that's why the reason why they continue coming back, I guess. The same with the incenses. Yeah.
Right. And then you studied and trained in all these different modalities. So what readings or services do you offer? And also, are there certain services that you offer for a client based on their situation? So like, for example, you would say, this person is coming for this, and life activation might be what they need, or healing, or chakra aligning, or quantum touch healing.
Yeah. So I do tarot readings and intuitive readings. Those, yes, they're there. But most of the times I put together packages as well, because you can see your soul growth even more stronger, in a stronger way. But the modality that I always suggest first is the life activation, because once you do the life activations and your energetic field is clear up, then any other modality that you receive, either if it's with me or someone else, you'll just feel it to another level, because a veil has been removed from your eyes, and you will just start getting the information in another way. It's just, I haven't had anyone that hasn't done the life activation that actually after 6 months they come back, because they kind of like want a boost of energy. But you start understanding as well the messages from nature, the messages of if you get into an accident, the messages of something not happening in your life, and understanding that that challenge actually is for your benefit. People starts opening up emotionally towards you, because they can feel the frequency of another type of light. So it's like they're looking for you for support, right? And so it's just like a massive change. So I always suggest that one first, because then if they come for a cord cutting, then the effect, to me, it's going to be more effective if they had the DNA activation, because it just clears up a lot of trauma, current trauma, and ancestral trauma. And the life activation, it's not only beneficial for you, but it benefits 7 generations in the past and 7 generations to the future as well. So another thing that you will start seeing is how your relationship with your family and your communication with your family shifts to a better way. And you start seeing like, oh, my dad and my mom never used to like talk to me like that. And it's just like, it just happens. I mean, I would say it's magic, but it's not. Yes, it's high magic, but it's beneficial for everyone. So that would be the first one. And then you can go the full spirit activation. It's another amazing modality where I activate certain different spots of your brain, and I connect them to your chakras. So the functionality of your brain and your chakras is aligned in order for your manifestation to be more focused. And it's a deeper connection with spirit as well. So, and these are modalities that have been practiced, all of them, the ones that I have on my website, they have been practiced 3,500 years ago. It comes from the lineage of King Solomon. So they're not new, but they're new for the public right now because they have been held in the mystery schools in secret.
Right. I'm looking at the chat right now, and someone, Davina, asks, I've been interested in tarot and have noticed many people in the spiritual community that are so over the top when reading with tarot cards. What is your opinion on that? I feel that's not authentic.
Over the top, meaning they're just thinking too hard when they're reading, or
I wonder if maybe Davina meant over the top, meaning maybe they read it with the tone and expression they read is very maybe like loud, or maybe in a very dramatic way, maybe.
Oh, well, I don't know, because I haven't experienced readings like that over the top. personally, I just follow my intuition, and sometimes, you know, there's this deck, for example, that I
And then she
have.
typed in the chat, she said, yes, very dramatic, more attention than education. I think so. What her question is, what do you think about people like, let's say, other readers that do these really dramatic displays of tarot readings? And what's your opinion on that?
Well, my opinion about this is, Davina, if you feel that a reading is over the top, then I would go with your intuition. It has been placed in your path in order to activate something in you for you to trust yourself. Maybe it's just not the frequency at that time. The tarot readers that I follow, let's say on YouTube, those readings that you can like click for free, right? There's a Revolution Conscious lady that I think she's amazing. And then Molly McCord, she's an amazing astrologer. Basically those are the two. I used to follow other ones that used to do like a lot of dramatic twin flame readings, right? But that was when I actually ran into my first twin flame, if you want to call it that way, because I don't align to that terminology really anymore, because Spirit has been showing me the next levels of it, right? But I would say that every person that it's put in our path is just for us to understand our power and empower ourselves. So it's something does not resonate with you, even what I'm saying, if this doesn't resonate with you, I would go with your intuition, because just right now the frequencies are not a match, and that doesn't mean that I am right or that you are wrong. Like, it's just is, right? And we have to go through different experiences because we have different things to learn in our path, in our path. So if someone is more dramatic reading the cards, then probably that's the phase that they have to go in their journey as well, and it will be aligned with other people that resonate with this with them, because it's just they're learning. We're all learning, so there's frequencies for everything.
Davina, I hope
Thank you for the question, though.
Yes, I hope that answers your question. And then finally, how does it feel for you personally to be a Hispanic or a Latina in the spiritual community?
I personally, I love it. Although I'm not the typical stereotype of the Latin world, when they used to send me to auditions here for Latin auditions, there's no way I would not book anything, because I don't, to Hollywood stereotype, I don't look Latin. But, and that would like trigger something, of course, clearly something to to heal in myself. But it would be difficult because, you know, they would just tell me, oh, you're Russian, talk to me in Russian. I'm like, I wish I know how to speak Russian. I can speak Spanish. And, you know, I love being Spaniard speaking and being a Latin. In Argentina, just like what Mercedes was saying, it's been taboo. Everyone was always into spirituality, they all have a psychic, they all have a tarot reader, right? That they have like saved on the phone that they go to. Growing up, I used to have my psychic. Since I was 18, you know, I used to go and consult the psychic, the cards. So, but it was really taboo, and still is. But in Argentina, at least that I know of, because I'm really connected to Argentina, they're opening up and opening up and opening up more, and it's become more organic. And there's still a lot to learn. And I believe that's one of the reasons my connection with LA and Buenos Aires and Argentina. and I'm trying to build that up. I have my Spanish account too, but I haven't been able to dedicate the time that I would have wanted to, because I've been dedicating to the businesses here. And but for example, this is a great tip I think that I'm going to give to create abundance and manifest abundance and keep the money flowing in your life. It is, if you have a charity or a cause that you can help and you can donate the money, that will keep your abundance flowing, your money flowing. So I have, for example, I sponsor a school in Argentina from kids from the street that my friend has, and they teach them more mindfulness and Waldorf teachings. So all the money that I do in Argentina from the readings, the DNA activations, everything that I do goes 100% to the kids, and then a percentage that I do here goes to the kids, to the teachers. It's been really rough with COVID down there. I know it has been really rough, you know, in another countries as well, like Vietnam. And it's really, we are really blessed here in the United States. Let's put it this way. And a lot of the times we don't really see what's going on out there, but it's really heartbreaking what's happening in Argentina. And it's just, you know, having that and supporting the Latin community in that way with the minimum, the little that I can. I wish I could more, and I'm building towards more, but it just, I love the support. And actually kids, to me, Latin kids especially, it's so important, all the kids, right? Because all the kids are important because they're new souls and they're super connected, and they have like other powers and antennas that are like communicating in another ways. They're super fast, they understand everything, they see the lights, they see the galactic beings. But teaching them protection and support of understanding those energies and how to be an empath and not ending up in drugs or alcohol, right? Because being an empath, that's where most of the kids end up, because they don't understand these voices that they hear, that they're talking to them. And you know,
they're new to it.
They're new. They have a sense, but they don't really quite understand. So to teach them, to me, is really important, and that's why I support that cause. And yes, I still teach healers as well to protect themselves, empath, right? Healer, empath, or any kind of people that feel that they're empath, but they don't really know how to control, or they're feeling pains that they're not theirs from the body. And you know, I'm very active being out there into teaching this, because when I felt it, when I woke up one day and I felt a headache that wasn't mine, and I realized that it wasn't mine, and I asked the question, is this headache mine or someone else? And the answer was someone else. So the pain went away right away. But that's a training as well that we had to do with our brain, right? And then after that, I started like feeling every single pain from everyone. I would go to the groceries, I was like, no, I don't want this. And it took me quite a bit to get to rituals, actual rituals that would heal my energetic field, that I can open now. Every time I do a healing, come out, feel what I need to feel, and then come back in. And what it's mine, it's mine. What it's yours is yours. But this is what I felt. Let's see how we can fix it, right? And the same for the kids, teaching them that, it'll just open up, I feel like, more clear path into their future and their mission on this planet.
So for more of your work though, and all that you do right now, like where can people find you online and on social media?
So my social media is I am Romie, just like my name there. And then my website is romiebo.com. and then my Starlight IG, Starlight by Romie, and the website is, I'm gonna put it on the link on the chat. Shop starlight.com. And if you want to get candles, you can use the coupon Latin as well, and you get 10% off till the end of October. And I do have seminars as well coming. We're gonna be doing with Sasha from Clubhouse. She's another astrologer. In December, we're going to be doing an astrological tarot wheel for 2022. So basically, we go through the 78 cards of the tarot with the phases of the new moon. And in each phase, from new moon to new moon, there's going to be a piece of the pie of archetypal energies that will help you understand the energies that you're navigating through in that piece of the pie. And it's just going to be a fascinating process. And that it will last you for the whole year. It's basically like a map of the archetypal energies that are going to be working with you from new moon to new moon. And it's going to be exciting. That's going to be December 4th, but we will be posting more on Instagram. So yeah, make sure that to follow us. And I'm trying to set up other classes and other courses, but and I'm trying to manifest someone that could help me in the business. So
it is a lot, yes.
Because it's a lot.
Being an entrepreneur is definitely not easy because you're wearing 10 million different hats. But thank you so much for coming out tonight, Romie, and sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Trang. Thank you, Mercedes, Anna, everyone that has been here. Thank you. If you want to message me, you can DM me. You can go to my website, send me an email. I'm open. If you have any questions, go for it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, how was that? What did you guys think about our powerful guests this evening? Again, please give them love, comment, ask any questions in the chat. I'm going to actually include all of their social media and websites here, as well as our upcoming events and our Facebook group. Let's see here. And then Lisette says, really enjoyed how diverse the speakers have been tonight. This has been such an interesting event, taken away from a lot from each speaker and resonate with a lot of information. Love this event. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. There's everyone's info. And then also, I would like to thank all our amazing guest speakers. Anna, Mercedes, Romie, thank you for taking the time today out of your night to share your story, your journey, and your gifts and talents with us. And so everyone, please give them a like, follow, and support in their business. Again, in the links below. Again, this is going to be posted probably in about a week on our YouTube channel as well. So feel free to share it. And then also thank you, all of you guys, for showing up and supporting, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with us. In November, we'll have more events, and also such as like Halloween happy hour. That's in October. But in November, we're going to have like Indigenous Heritage Month as well. And hopefully we'll have some guest speakers to talk about that. All right, everyone, have a good night. Thank you so much.